got a job as a tug hand, deckhand, on the Manchester Ship Canal, and I actually got expelled from school because after being at boarding school, I just really couldn't fit in at sort of, being at home. I mean, it was just crazy, and I went off the rails, to be absolutely honest.
I mean, that's why you got the affinity with us, though.
Well, I guess so, and against my parents' wishes, I'd been going over to Liverpool, and there was a club there. Well, it was a coffee bar called the Jacaranda, which in the history of the Beatles and the Liverpool sound is a very crucial place, because it was where all the art students went, and I happened to stumble across it and go there and met students from the art school. Mal Dean, who is unfortunately long dead now, but a real character. They were all beatniks, and Roy Hollingsworth, and they were a bit older than me, but they were very encouraging, and of course I was wearing my duffel coat, and everybody wore duffel coats and things like that. We'd meet in the Jacaranda and so on and so forth, and of course that was when all the Liverpool music scene was starting, and I was playing in a band called the Anzacs.
Oh, right.
And
Jazz band, was it? Or no?
Well, I was playing in a band before that, which was called the Peninsula Jazz Band.
What were you on? Bone or violin?
Trombone.
Right.
Trombone. And so we got regular gigs. There was a really huge scene.
So at the same time you were at Liverpool Art College, you were in a band?
Yeah.
The Anzacs?
Yeah. And
did you bump into old Lennon at all? Because he was there the year before you, wasn't he?
Lennon was just leaving the art school when I went there, but he would actually pop in from time to time, because Cynthia, who later became his wife, she was the star of the fashion department. She was the most beautiful lady in the whole of the art school, and she was in the fashion department doing that. And of course, at that time, the Liverpool scene was just absolutely unbelievable, because all the clubs were there, like the Cavern, all the groups were there, the Beatles, the Searchers, you name them all, like the Mojos, and I was playing with a band called the Anzacs. We were an R&B band, influenced by soul music and blues, as opposed to what the Searchers were doing or what the Beatles were doing. But there was an incredible market for it, and we were basically a semi-pro band. We had a manager, and who got us gigs, and we would play in all the major clubs from Liverpool to Manchester. So in Manchester you'd have the Twisted Wheel, like in Wigan, you would go to the club there, and you'd have all the London bands playing there, like John Mayall's Blues Bakers, Spencer Davis Group, all of that kind of stuff. So it was the most amazing thing, and I didn't get a grant, but I paid my way through art school because we were gigging the whole time, you know, and you know, it was just amazing, and like the number of bands that came out of Liverpool Art School. There was Lennon and the Beatles, there was Derry Wilkie and the Seniors. Derry was a lovely guy. He was a Afro-Caribbean model, a male model, and he was earning his money daytime modelling for the art students, but at night he was rocking and rolling down the Tavern, the Mardi Gras, and everywhere else, genuine the scenery, you know.
Shake your hips and go like this. Oh yeah, I heard you ready. Okay, I wanna twist. Let's see, I double twist. Yeah, double twist. Come on, all right now, man. Just follow this.
In those days, the courses were under a national exam called the NDD, National Diploma of Design, and that was still going in 1960. But what changed it all was the very famous Coldstream report, and that is when foundation courses proper were brought in, and things became degree level, that sort of thing, and it was the most amazing revolution that ever happened. And Bill Coldstream was just an amazing guy. Oh well, as you know, but it was funny because I got really after I finished the NDD at the college, because Liverpool Art School was a regional college. It was large. It wasn't a small one like Wigan or Ramsgate or something like that. It was a major art school, and they had a teacher training department as a part of it. So I got into the Royal, but when I got accepted on the ATD, it was called Art Teachers Diploma course, that really suited me with all the sort of philosophical stuff that I was interested in. I was really interested in people like Goethe and, you know, all of that sort of stuff. And then so I finished that, and I wanted to move away from Liverpool, and so when you wanted a job, you bought the Times Higher Education supplement, and you looked in there, and I saw a couple of jobs advertised in there. One was in Milton Keynes, I think it was, and the other was in Crawley, at the Thomas Bennett School. And the funny thing was that at that exact time, Thomas Bennett was making the news big time. It was in all the colour supplements, because it was a brainchild of the then headmaster called Tim McMullen, and Tim was the leading higher educationist of his day. And because Crawley was a new town and they hadn't got any comprehensive schools, nothing like that, they actually built them all. They were purpose built. So Thomas Bennett was in Tilgate. each of the different areas, they all had their own one. And I saw this job advertised, sixth form art tutor for the Thomas Bennett School. And I thought, wow, I really, really fancy that. You know what I mean? And so I applied for it. Got an interview. The man who interviewed me was John Genvy, who was the head of department, of course Keith knows him. And John's ambition was to set up a sixth form foundation course that was fully accredited. And my job was to do that. Well, I was like a what's the word? Dog in shit, is it? A pig in shit.
Duck taken to water.
Duck taken to water, yeah.
Highway 61, the longest highway that I know. Highway 61, the longest highway that I know. Run from New York City to the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah, so we probably ran Studio 51 for about two or 3 years, didn't we?
Yeah, we did, yeah.
But the artists that came down there, can you remember any of them?
Oh, well, it was just
I
fantastic.
think it was Ron Watts, all the blues players over from America, and they always came down to our club.
That's right. I remember being on stage and Howling Wolf walked in.
That's a coincidence, big, because we'd just come back from a gig in Scotland. We had the Studio 51 to do in the afternoon.
That's right.
And while we were up in Scotland, I bought this album. And now when Howling Wolf came in, I think that's 6'2" and 3.
Yeah.
I asked him for his autograph, and he signed my record. There is that.
That is amazing.
I mean, that.
My goodness.
He's written Howling Wolf for Chester Burnett. That's got to be worth a few bob.
That has got to be worth more than a few bob.
That's mine.
Well,
good though.
that is proof of actually what we're talking about. You know.
Well, I do remember Fred McDowell, Joanne and Tony McPhee used to run a club, the Bridge House in
Yeah, there was a bridge house.
Southwark or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, Elephant and Castle.
And we were up there, and Arthur Big Boy Craddock jumped up.
Yeah, yeah,
If you remember.
yeah.
And of course he did. That's all right, Mama, that he wrote for Elvis, but because he was a bit getting on a bit, he kept repeating it and forgot he'd done it. So he did it 2 or 3 times. That's all right, Mama. But when you think back, he played with Son House,
Yeah.
at Houston Town Hall,
Yeah.
and I look back, and he was really old, like the granddad, but
Yes,
he
he
was
was.
only 64.
Yeah. Mm.
We thought he was really old, but I mean, there you go.
Yeah, but I mean, to me, I look back on that with fond memories, because by a kind of act of God, we got to know and play with our heroes.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and when Mississippi Fred McDowell, I mean, he came over 2 or 3 times, and when that gig was put on at the Mayfair Theatre,
You were filming by then.
which Alex and I filmed, and it was Joanne, Mississippi Fred, Ian Anderson was playing, all of the people that we've known through Studio 51.
Lord, remember me, baby, honey, when I'm gone.
Thank you so much.